जीवन दे दे, दया की याचना करूं, तेरी आराधना करूं। प्रभु हम धन्यवाद देते हैं सुंदर समय के लिए। प्रभु जी इस गीतों के लिए हम आपका धन्यवाद देते हैं। प्रभु जी सचमुच में इस गीतों के द्वारा आप हमारे जीवन में एक पिता परमेश्वर बल देते हैं प्रभु, एक सामर्थ्य देते हैं, एक आशा देते हैं प्रभु जी, जिसके कारण हम पिता परमेश्वर जब भी हम पिता परमेश्वर किसी परेशानियों में पड़ते हैं, तकलीफों में पड़ते हैं, तो जब हम आपके गीतों को गाते हैं प्रभु जी, एक अलग ही उत्साह, एक अलग ही एनर्जी हमारे जीवन में आती है प्रभु जी। और उस परेशानियों को फाइट करने के लिए पिता परमेश्वर हमें सामर्थ्य मिलती है। इसके लिए हम धन्यवाद देते हैं पिता परमेश्वर। आपकी उपस्थिति के लिए धन्यवाद देते हैं। यहाँ पे बैठे हर एक को आपके हाथ में सौंपते प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद देते हैं। सारा आदर महिमा गौरव आपको देते हैं, क्योंकि इसके योग्य सिर्फ और सिर्फ केवल आप। यीशु के नाम से मांगते हैं, आमीन। ओवर टू यू दीदी।
Thank you, Brother Edwin, for leading us in such a beautiful worship song. And worship always quietens our mind and calms our heart, and it brings us together to the Lord. So thank you so much. And there's a beautiful verse in 1 Corinthians 10:31. It's written, well, whatever you do, whether you eat, drink, or drink, do it all for God's glory. So right now, when we are here for writers workshop, let our pen, our thoughts, and our mind glorifies the Lord. So like yesterday, we had Sister.Jessy take up in our midst. So right now, we will again go for the sessions, and I welcome Sister.Jessy. Over to Sister.Jessy.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sumana, yeah. Okay, I'll just share my screen. It's visible, no? Yeah. Okay, thank you all for coming back again today. I don't know how many of you have done that, writing your testimony. Some of you could do if I get a response. Anybody could do? Or all were busy weekend? Anybody could do, or no?
Tried Didi, but could not complete. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Joji. Anybody else? Yeah. Anyway, weekend and all, you might be busy. So now, today also I will give some assignment which you can try. And then if you can send it to somebody whom you feel they can help, or you can send it to me also. I will give my comments. I'm not an expert in giving a lot of comments, but whatever I can do. But at the same time, if you have somebody else, you can send it to them also. But start writing. That's the main thing. That's why I told testimony, so that it is very easy. Writing our own testimony is easy. Yesterday we were talking about writing in like news items and all, no, like letter to the editor, or there is a column like this, the speaking tree. And yesterday I was telling one brother, Neil Vimal Kumar, he was an EU student. When I was a staff in Lucknow, like UP, MP and Delhi and all, he was studying in Allahabad that time. So he works with Life Focus Society now. He wrote this article in Times of India, and it has come, they have published it. So there are opportunities like this. Yesterday somebody was asking, is it okay for us to write on these topics? So here you can see that he was writing, and some of you can just glance through it and see how he has brought it up. Okay. This was published on 8th August in light of August 15, that is Freedom Day, Independence Day. So he has written it much before, so that by 8th August it was published. So like this, if any special event comes, you can write your thoughts on that so that people can read it. And if you see here, most of the things it is general writing, but when it comes to the end, if you see the last paragraph, you see how he has brought out the biblical principle without even mentioning Bible. So this is the way we can write some or the other thoughts on certain things, and you can send it to the editor or to the news channel, so that we don't know whether they will publish it, but we can try. And otherwise, we can, as we mentioned, we can publish it in our own blog or somewhere social media, somewhere we can do it. Even WhatsApp statuses, that's a very good place where instead of projecting ourselves, if we can write some concerns or write some catchy thoughts and write some thoughts which God speaks to us, and it can really help others, and they will respond to you. They will ask you questions. So you don't have to wait for a very big write-up, to start with. You can write simple things like how it appears in Instagram and all. Some people, they just put catchy things and you just scroll and you see it. You cannot actually close Instagram once you open it. So like that, if you put some catchy things in your WhatsApp status or Instagram or something like that, that will really help people to think about it. Now, yesterday I was telling, keep sentences very short and simple and clear. How does long sentences appear? Here you see one sentence it is, okay? You all can read it in your mind and see what it is. I think you have read it. What did you understand? Is it easy to understand? Any response? If you read a sentence like this, is it easy to understand? Some response you can say so that we'll know that we are on the same page.
Very difficult to focus.
Very difficult to focus because it's too long. Okay. What are the thoughts in that? We find it very difficult. So if you write like this, the readers will find it very difficult. When we read others write up, we find it difficult. But when we write, we forget about it. Okay. So keep it in mind that keep short sentences. How do we split that same thing in short sentences? Now you see here, that same long sentence is split into different sentences. So now you can focus on each sentence and then you understand the whole concept. Is it easy now?
Yeah.
Yes? Yeah. So the same sentence in two different ways. And if you put just comma, comma, comma and continue the thing, you will lose the track. But make it as, split it as different sentences so that you will be able to understand it better. So when you write, you keep the reader in your mind and try to make it as simple as possible. Now, writing can either be roundabout, that is, beating around the bush, indirect, or to the point, that is direct. Here are some examples. Roundabout writing uses more words than necessary. We'll be writing too many words to communicate something. Going round and round, beating around the bush. Doesn't directly state the main point. We want to say something, but we just go around beating the bush. And then many times we use a lot of jargon or complex language, which is vague and unclear. Some of the jargons we use, what are those jargons? Any examples? Christian jargons? Any examples you want to say? Okay, here are some. Yeah. Yes, Samuel, tell.
Didi, if you start, we will.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes we'll say, like, God spoke to me. Okay. God spoke to me. And now, how did God speak? The reader doesn't know, isn't it? When I was a student, I really struggled with this. I used to sit silently, quietly, just to listen to God. I thought God will come directly and speak. Because in many of our testimonies, we use this word. God spoke to me. God called me. How did God call? Did he come down from heaven and call you? No. So these are some of the jargons we use and we think that people understand. Okay. But when you write, God spoke to me, you write, how did he speak? Through his word, through his people, or through some means, God spoke to me. Or when you say, invite Jesus into your heart. When I was small, I was so confused with this term. I don't know whether you were confused. Invite Jesus into your heart. I used to wonder, I take it biologically and I used to think, how is it possible? How can Jesus enter into my heart? There is a verse also, here I stand at the door and knock and open and I will enter into. So I used to wonder what is this door of the heart and things like that, But there, now of course, we need to interpret the scripture. But when we use such jargons, make it very plain and clear, especially if your reader is a new person, that they don't have much awareness of Christian jargons, then try to explain it so that it will, even when you share your testimony, keep this in your mind. Then we use some of the jargons: justification, sanctification, glorification. What are these things? And we think that the readers know it and we just leave it. But if your readers are quite new to these doctrines and these terms, especially maybe new believers, people who are not very mature, who are not familiar with these terms, when you write, try to explain it. Maybe when you write justification, in bracket, what you write what you mean by it. Sanctification, in a small sentence, you mention what it is so that it will be easy for the readers. I hope it is clear now. So when we write, we use a lot of jargons. Now, this is not for jargon, but writing roundabout. Now, one sentence, how roundabout we write. The fact of the matter is, it is possible that we might need to consider the option of maybe having to potentially re-evaluate our current strategy. And a very, very complicated sentence. Okay. Roundabout, we said. This is an example of going roundabout writing. But to the point writing, how uses clear and concise languages. Okay. Very clear language. Get straight to the main point, direct and straightforward. No beating around the bush. Avoids unnecessary words, that means easy to understand. Example, we need to re-evaluate our strategy. That same sentence, roundabout, we said like this. The fact of the matter is, it is possible that we might need to consider the option of maybe having to potentially re-evaluate our current strategy. So many unnecessary words are there. And the reader will not understand it. But when you keep it short, how is it? The direct point is, we need to re-evaluate our strategy. That's all. So when you write, keep this in your mind that you need to use precise and concise words so that it will be effective and the readers will understand it. But roundabout writing can help. How? In diplomatic or sensitive situations, yesterday we were discussing, like we may not be able to say directly some of the things, especially like evangelism, missions and things like that in our context. Some of the things we may not be able to directly say. So that such times you can use roundabout method. Okay. Instead of saying it direct, telling it indirectly so that our audience, they will be able to understand what it is. But know the audience, then only you will be able to do it. And if you want to soften something, you don't want to be so harsh and direct, then you can use a roundabout method. But generally, it is always good to write directly so that the readers can understand and it will be clear to them. And to the point of writing, in most of the business write-ups, academics, or everyday writing, where clarity and efficiency are key. Generally, for any write-ups, to the point writing is very, very important. Remember, it is essential to consider your audience, purpose, and context when deciding which approach to use. Okay, there is no hard and fast rule that you have to just do like this, but you know the audience, you know the purpose for which you are writing, you know the context, and then you decide which approach to use. Okay, that is very important. Now, using precise words, some of the examples. Now, instead of good, and more effective words, how we can use. Instead of just using good, use exceptional. Okay, it will give a little more weight. The exceptional service impressed me. The good service impressed me is very, very simple. But if you say the exceptional, that means there was nothing like that. It was very exceptional. Okay, or superb. The superb cuisine was the highlight. Or excellent. The excellent performance earned a standing ovation. So instead of just using good, there are different synonyms or better words which we can use so that the readers can, the readers will be attracted to our writing. This I just took from online, these examples. Then instead of big, use enormous. The enormous stadium seated thousands. Okay, the big stadium. Instead of that, the enormous stadium. Then instead of big, you can use huge. The huge waves crashed against the shore. Even you can use massive. The massive stone statue towered over the city. So these things you don't have to struggle, because the moment you type, for example, the word good, you will get all the synonyms in that. Even in your Word document itself, if you right click, you will see synonyms, meanings, and things like that. So you can use some of the words which are more apt there and more effective there, so that it will help you. Of course, nowadays, even you don't have to do that. If you just put your write-up in AI and things like that, you will get very refined, very professional write-ups. So you people all are very privileged that you can write you can write excellent write-ups. Give a very skeleton of your write-up and put it in AI and things like that. They will reform it and give you a very good piece of write-up. Okay, that is very good. So instead of using small or very simple words, sometimes you can use synonyms of those things. And especially when it has to be repeated in a sentence. Always don't use the same word. Yesterday also I said, and I use synonyms or use different words so that meaning may be same, but it will look attractive and readers will not get bored with same word. Instead of happy, you can use euphoric. The euphoric crowd celebrated the victory. Elated. Recently I learned this word. I didn't know what was the meaning of elated. So instead of just happy, you can say we are elated to bring you this news. Okay, the elated winner beamed with pride. Then ecstatic. The ecstatic child couldn't stop smiling. Some of these words meaning we may not know, but when you use the word happy, you will get synonyms of that. And even when you right click to this particular word, you will get the meaning, simple meaning of that, so that you can understand. So use some of these attractive words. In Hindi also, if you are writing in Hindi, you look into some of the synonyms and use different terms so that it will attract the audience. Instead of fast, use rapid. The rapid current swept us away. Swift, the swift response saved the day. Brisk, the brisk walk invigorated me. All this kind of stuff you can use so that the write-up can be a little more effective and useful. Then yesterday I said use one word where you don't have to use 2-3 words. Okay, one word will give more effect than using 2 words. Instead of really good, we all are used to saying that it was really good. Okay, instead of that, you can say it was an exceptional thing. Okay, exceptional. Instead of 2 words, 1 word. Instead of very happy, euphoric, we use that. Instead of extremely difficult, use arduous, or maybe any other synonym you can use. Instead of really big, use enormous. Instead of very fast, use rapid. Instead of extremely cold, use frigid. Instead of really old, use ancient. So this, instead of using two words, one word will communicate it much more effective than using more words. So these are some of the examples which we can focus when we write. Instead of very tired, use exhausted instead of 2 words. Especially when the word limit is there, you want to reduce the number of words. Look for 1 word instead of many words. Instead of extremely beautiful, use stunning. Instead of really interesting, use fascinating. More concise, efficient, and engaging words that will help your write-up. Avoid repetition, reduce wordiness, increase clarity, enhance precision, add variety to your language. If you use this kind of words, instead of too many words, if you use 1 word, and it will avoid all these things which is mentioned here. Okay. Sometimes using 2 words can provide more understanding. Again, it depends on the audience. For example, people who do not know English much, if you write stunning, or fascinating, they may not understand. So you can make it very simple. I was very tired instead of exhausted. You look extremely beautiful. So some of the crowd, they may prefer 2 words than 1 word. So that is also there. Depends on the context with which you are writing. Avoid slurs, that is maybe insulting kind of thing, derogatory terms. Never use words that demean or discriminate against individuals or groups based on race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, religion, or disability. Then any of these things in our write-up, if we criticize or if we insult or putting people down, looking down on them, be very careful about such words. Use inclusive language. Opt for neutral or inclusive terms instead of gender specific or exclusive ones. For example, we all say chairman, the chairman of the this. These days, people don't appreciate it. Okay, the chairperson. Gender inclusive things, chairperson. Or what was that? One more term was there, I just forgot. Anyway, these kind of words, inclusive language is very, very important. Be mindful of cultural differences. Avoid using language that might be considered insensitive or disrespectful in certain cultures. Especially when we are in a cross-cultural setup, we need to be very sensitive, not looking down on any culture or not criticizing any culture, not even bringing disrespect to any culture. Use person-first language. Emphasize the person, not their condition. For example, person with a disability instead of disabled person. You can understand the difference, no? The moment we said disabled person, it is the moment we speak or write, the moment they read it, it brings a very sort of negative thing. But person with disability, we are giving importance to the person and then explaining what kind of a person it is. So that kind of terms in write-up is very good. Avoid stereotypes and assumptions. Refrain from making generalizations or perpetuating harmful stereotypes. Stereotypes means one particular way of doing things. Like, for example, we say that stereotypes, only women will be doing kitchen work, men will be breadwinners. Those kind of stereotypes, sometimes when we write in some of the things, and that can create problem. I just gave that example, but there are so many other stereotypes. I will give some examples later. Then edit and review. And when you do this, you double check your content for potentially sensitive language. And yesterday we discussed that, especially when we are writing our newsletter or maybe writing in our state magazine or Christian magazine. And be very careful, double check, triple check your content so that there will not be anything which is sensitive. As you read it again and again and again, you will be able to see whether one particular term will put down people or will switch off the mind of the readers. So be very careful when you edit and review it, read it again and again so that you will know what it is. Now, I told you generalization. How do? We normally say that that person is always prejudiced. We use terms like always, never, such kind of thing. They never listen. We make generalized conclusions. Okay, maybe it is 1 or 2 people's issue, but we make a general conclusion. So in your write-up, don't generalize things. And write the facts and then leave it. Then stereotypes. You are so lucky to be an American. We say that, oh, you are so lucky. Now you are an American or you are an Indian. And we say Northeast. NE means Northeast people are naturally good at singing. Now we give such type of comments, which is quite stereotype. Okay. And then stereotyping a religious group as extremist or violent. For example, certain names we take and say that they are very fanatics or extremist, violent. In our write-up also, sometimes we write like that. But don't, label them like that in your write-up. Then mocking or belittling religious rituals or customs in our write-ups. Be very careful that we will not do that. Then avoid terms like crazy, insane, lame, these kind of words. It will be hurting other sentiments. So be very careful how you use these words. Then black people, white people, South Indians, North Indians, these kind of terms, be very careful so that it will not come in the write-up. Now we need to be very careful in our terms. And instead of telling, when we are in a different place, instead of native people, then we say that other people are strangers, other people are not accepted there. Instead of that, if you want to tell about the local people, you say that indigenous people. Okay. If you are in, for example, South Indian people are in North India. So instead of saying North Indians, instead of saying natives, or ulta, here when we are North Indians are there, instead of saying South Indians, say indigenous people. Indigenous means what? People belonging to that particular place. So that will help. Then avoid these terms, for God's sake. Now we use it so common, like, for God's sake, damn it, hell, no, what the devil. These kind of terms, if you can avoid, that will help, because this will not give a very positive attitude towards the write-ups. Okay, any questions till now? Anything which is not clear? Then we'll go to the next one. Any questions? Sumana, what did you write? Poetic, confined. What did you mean by that?
I answered the questions you asked before, actually.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Any clarification needed? So why I mentioned all these words are because very often we speak such words, and even in write-ups it comes out. Sometimes we become very aggressive and we want to criticize certain things, and we use certain terms like this. So be very careful what words you are using. Always try to use positive words which will give positive energy to people, so that readers will be prompted to read it more instead of switching off their mind. That is the whole concept. Now, when you write, you need to be careful about these things also. Yesterday, I mentioned some of the things, but little more. Format and alignment. Formatting, the font is very important. Use a clear, legible font like Arial, Calibri, or Times New Roman. And yesterday I said that generally people prefer Times New Roman. Even Calibri, many people use it. So something which is very clear. Sometimes when we use some of the fonts, we cannot read at all. Okay. Instead of S, we will read J. Instead of J, we will read S. Things like that. No, those kind of fonts. Be very careful when you are writing an article or any write-up. Size, choose a standard font size. Yesterday I said 12. That is for the body text. And margins, be very careful when you are writing. Set margins to 1 to 2 inches, and 2.5 to 5 centimeter on all sides. Sometimes, one side will be too crowded and one side will be free. No, it is not like that. You set the format in such a way that all sides there will be margins. Line spacing, use double spacing for body text, especially like if it is a professional write-up, like thesis and things like that, you know that double spacing is needed. If you're writing any professional write-up, use double spacing. Otherwise, single spacing or 1.5, that will do. Okay. Then headings, you use single spacing. For all the headings, you can use that. Then use a consistent indentation system, that is 5 spaces or 0.5 inches. That is between the paragraphs and things like that. Use consistently the same space. And headings, use larger font sizes. For heading, give a different font size, that is maybe 14 to 18 this one points. And you bold your headings so that people can see that these are the headings. So a different font or a different size of this one point and bolding, that will help so that people can understand what are your headings. And even for subheadings, you can give different font size. Then paragraphs, separate paragraphs with a blank line or indentation. Paragraph separation should be very, very much evident. It will not be crowded like, one after the other, but paragraph separation, you need to make it very clear when you are writing. Alignment, left alignment, used for body text and paragraphs. I hope you are aware of these things. Center alignment, use use for headings, titles, and subtitles. When you go to your laptop computer, you see these things, no? Alignment, that is left, center, and right. If it is a body, text, or paragraphs, use the left alignment. If it is headings and titles, use the center one, because heading will be on that center thing. Then right alignment, use for dates, times, and other secondary information. That will be right alignment. And many times we do justification. You know that, no? There is a provision like justification. So the moment you click that, the document will look, the same, like, the same size and same border and everything. Okay. But what happens is that if you do justification for all the documents, sometimes it will give awkward spacing. Now you must have observed it. No, sometimes when we do justification, it can give a lot of spacing problem. So look at it and do accordingly. Then consistency is very important. Maintain consistent formatting throughout your document. When I say consistent, sometimes you will give 1, 2, 3, and in between you will give some other A, B, C, or maybe after giving A, B, C, you will give small 1, 2, and things like that. Instead of that, if you can write like Roman letters 1, and then give 1.1 for your subheading. And if you have further heading, 1.1.1. And let that be consistent throughout the document. If you are giving A, B, C, give A, and then maybe for subpoints, small a, small b, something like that you can give. But throughout the document, keep one particular this one, so that there will be consistency. Readability, prioritize clear readability and avoid confusion. Readability is very important. If it is very crowded and no consistency, alignment is not proper, and different points, different kind of bullets you are giving, and it will all look very hodgepodge. Okay. Instead of that, and if you give consistent alignment and things like that, the readability will be more and confusion will be less. Okay, anything you want to ask till now? Anything not clear? No response. Okay. Yesterday we were discussing, these days students, especially the younger generation, they don't like to read big articles. Am I true? Some of your students know in this. I want to hear you, students. What kind of articles would you like to read? Yes, some response?
I think, ma'am, sorry, lesson here. I think most because of the COVID and online classes, people are preferring PowerPoint sort of things, very short, crisp, towards the point, and
Yes.
eye catching it in the second itself. They see.
Yes. So
That's
you
my
don't
take on
prefer very long articles, isn't it?
it. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So nowadays, students, especially after all this online thing and all, Suman also wrote very precise ones, no? Very difficult to focus if it is a very long article. That is why even in our UESI magazine Campus Link, many people struggle because some of the articles are very long. Because I told you yesterday, it is like 1,400 words. So people don't have that much of patience to read the whole thing. So now the baton is in your hands, okay? Our old people like us, we write big articles, and many things may be repeated also. Many things may not be needed. Unnecessary words may be there. But people like you who prefers short articles, please write short articles. Yesterday I told you in your Instagram and things like that. See, some of the things, even if you don't want to open, you will open, isn't it? It is very catchy. Huh? You will open your Instagram and you will think that, okay, I will just browse for 5 minutes. But then when you see some other captions, you will open that. Then when you will see some other thing, you will open that. And it's very catchy. So like that, if you can do some of those stuff and write short articles which will provoke the thinking of people, and that will help, especially for student crowd. This is very much needed. So now for short articles, what are the things we need to see? Define the purpose and scope clearly. If you want to write a short article, what is the purpose of your writing and what is the scope? Write it down clearly before you start writing the article. Select a specific relevant topic that can be covered briefly. Now, whatever topic you want to cover, take a relevant one, a very specific one, which can be covered briefly. Okay, that is very important. And then gather essential information and facts. Once you decide the topic, you try to gather information. You put your own thoughts and at the same time essential information. Then make an outline. Yesterday I told, again I'm repeating. Organize ideas and structure the article. Now, what are the things? It's a very short article, but within those word limits, what is the main focus you want to communicate? Now, decide on that. Make an outline. Use clear, concise language and focus on key points. You don't have to narrate so many things, but key points you will be giving. Use a catchy title that grabs attention. Yesterday we mentioned that. Keep it short, typically 300 to 500 words. Even that much these days people are struggling. Okay, 300 to 500 words is max which you can use for this purpose. So maybe if you are a student and you have a chance or an opportunity to write in your college magazine, or any newsletter or anything like that, and write small write-ups which will provoke the thinking of people. Maybe something issues on maybe gender issues, or issues on sexuality, issues on bribery, ragging, anything which bothers you, anything which is interesting you, write down those things in very small write-ups so that people can read it and understand it. So it is very important. Then use subheadings, break up content and enhance readability. Okay. Once you decide the topic, use one or two subheadings so that it will be little more clearer to the audience. Edit and proofread, review for clarity, grammar, punctuation, etc. Editing, you yourself can edit. We'll come to that later. What are the things you need to see? But you yourself go through it again and again, read it. And as we mentioned, some of the terms you can look, sensitivity you can look. You can look whether unnecessary words are there, whether instead of 2-3 words, whether you can use one word so that it will be attractive. So you can do those things. Then use engaging formatting, incorporate bullet points, numbers or images. In short write-ups, you can even use images which will really help the reader to understand things. If it is an official article, maybe some of the images may not be required, but most of the things you can put it. Then, as I told you yesterday, grab attention with an interesting fact, quote, or some question. You can do that. Engaging language, incorporate vivid verbs, verbs which are active, descriptive adjectives. Now, adjectives are very good. Instead of saying that, of course, I told you using one word is important, but at the same time, sometimes adjectives makes it little more, attractive to people. For example, instead of saying beautiful, you can say she was very beautiful. So that will give a little more emphasis on that. So you see the audience and you see how you can write it. And even rhetorical devices. Rhetorical means what? The answer will be there itself. Okay, I will give example for that later. Short paragraphs for easy reading. Add visuals, incorporate images, videos, infographics, graphs like this, that is infographic example, that picture only I have given. Sometimes videos you can insert and give links and things like that so that it will be more understandable. Write in a friendly, approachable voice that resonates with your audience. Friendly and approachable voice than very aggressive type of thing. Ask rhetorical questions to engage readers. For example, rhetorical questions means this: can a man carry fire next to his chest and his clothes not be burned? Okay, this is Proverbs 6:27. What do you mean by rhetorical? The answer is there itself. You don't have to look for answer. Okay, that is rhetoric. Can a fig tree bear olives or a grapevine bear figs? The answer is there itself. Okay, so use such kind of things so that readers can think on it and at the same time they will get the answer itself. So use different creative ideas so that your write-up will be attractive to the readers. That is very important. Okay, then there are forum articles. What do you mean by that? writing media is very important for creating awareness about general and social concerns and social action. We told that when we see something, whether it will bother us, whether it will challenge us to write something, so writing media is very important. So in that, articles are very important, and forum article is one type of article which is popular now. What is forum article? Forum articles are the series of articles wherein many can share their opinions about a particular thing or a concept. Now, you will be writing something, but many people can comment on it. Many people can follow that thread and comment or write on that. So it is not just your write up. You will be putting something, and many others can add on to it or comment on to it. The forum article helps bring out the thought lines of many people in different angles. You might be thinking in one way, but you will get different opinions of different people. And also it gives opportunity to know the viewpoints of people from varied background. Now, you might be thinking in one particular aspect, but people with different backgrounds will bring different perspective to one particular thing. So this will really provoke our thinking. It will really help us to know where we stand. It will help us to know the issues in a little more deeper way. The defects of what we believe as right can be pointed out by only those who hail from a different background. We might be thinking only in one particular setup of thinking, but others' point of view, it can really help us to know that not only what we think are right, but even others have opinions on that. Generally, forum articles would be either to raise a question or to give answer to a question. Either you will be raising a question where people will be giving comments, or people have given a question and you are commenting on it. Now you can add your value to it. So this is very important, especially for student crowd. Then you put some questions, maybe in your Instagram or Facebook or any social media which you are using, or blog somewhere. You raise a question or you raise some point where you can have comment sections and people can comment on it. To pave the way for a healthy discussion and to bring out the truth should be the focus of these articles. What is the focus? A healthy discussion and also bringing out the truth. Don't be offended when others give their opinion. There is no place for unwanted discussions in the Christian publications. In Christian circle, there is no place for unwanted discussions. We will not give space for that. When it is going out of the scope, when it is going out of the track, you can always limit it and you can tell them that. So forum articles are very important, especially for bringing awareness on any issues which we are facing, or even the campuses what we are facing. It is very important. Examples for Bible-based forum article: role of women in ministry, cross-cultural wedding, role of tithe in Christian giving. Can salvation be lost? Many people struggle with this. Can salvation be lost? Debate on circumcision or baptism, difference of opinion among leaders in Christian ministry, issues like dowry, bribery, sexuality, and lot more. Think about these things, and you can write a catchy write-up on that, and let other people give their opinion. It is very, very important in our context. Benefits of forum articles: it helps us resolve differences of opinion. It can resolve and it can even sometimes take us to some other level unless we are careful. Truth is ascertained since we discuss the subject in various angles. The truth will be coming out when we discuss on various things. Help identify the extra biblical teachings. If it is coming from outside the Bible, you will be able to identify it. Guide the ignorant believers to knowledge. People who do not know much about it, it will guide them. Corrects the individual's worldview and help the person to look everything with broad-mindedness. Now, sometimes we just stick on to our own idea and we don't give room for others to express their view. But then these kind of articles will help us to read more on it and to read others' opinions so that we will be able to understand it. Okay, anything till now? Any questions or doubts? Anything you want to ask? Yeah. I hope I am clear. Any clarification is needed? Okay. Now, how do you self-edit a content? Now, many times we write, but we don't know how to edit it. Now, yesterday also I told, when you are really bugged up in your mind, no, take a break. You might be writing a particular article, but now your mind is not at all stretching anymore. You are stuck. So what to do? Take a break. Set your manuscript aside for a week to clear your mind, so that that uh, what to say, your mind will be free, and you will think more, and you will be exposed to more things, and then come back and do it, so that your write up can be a little more better. So take a break, and then review your goals, revisit your writing objectives, and ensure your work aligns with them. You had a purpose, you had a goal when you were writing that particular thing. So come back to that, revisit that, review that, and then read your article and see whether that objective is done, whether that goal is fulfilled. So if it is not there and you are wavering from that, you are what to say, sidetracked from your goals and objectives, then you come back, look at your objectives and come back to that. Okay. Read objectively, approach your work as a reader, not as a writer. Now, many times we are not able to understand it because we write as writer. But you put yourself in their shoes, the reader's shoe, and think whether they'll be able to understand it, whether I am communicating it properly to the reader, which is very important. Check structure and organization, ensure logical flow, proper pacing, and clear transitions. Now, there should be a flow of thought. Sometimes what happens is that in one paragraph, we'll say something and then directly jump into some other thing. There is no connection. So, how it will help? Read it again and again. Once you read it, once, twice, thrice, then you will know that, okay, this paragraph and this paragraph don't have much connection. You are jumping into some other thing. So see to it that you have a proper connection between the passages. If it is not coming, then try to rewrite it and edit it so that the connection will be made, the bridge will be made. So in your article, there should be a logical flow, and also there should be clear transition. That is very important. Evaluate content, verify facts, check consistency, and assess character development. You evaluate your own content, whether the facts are true, whatever you have given, whether it is true, and whether there is consistency, and also whether there is that development, that logical development in the write-up. Analyze sentence structure and grammar. Identify awkward phrasing, grammatical errors, and punctuation mistakes. For all these things, what you have to do, read it again and again. So many times you will have to go through that, so that you will be able to see that there are some mistakes, some phrasing problems, some grammatical errors, and things like that. So read it again and again. You yourself can edit it again and again. So self-editing is very important before you pass it on to anybody else. This is my experience when I have written editorial for Campus Link or any other article. The day I finish my writing, I feel that, okay, I have done a good job. It is done. But the next day when I go through it, with a fresh mind, again, when I open it, I feel that there are so many things. There is no need of some of the things, or some more things have to be added. It's not clear to the reader. Sometimes, some of the mistakes I will see. Sometimes I will see that there is no logical flow. So read it again and again, so that you yourself can edit it and rewrite and rework and bring out a good piece. Examine word choice and tone. Ensure precise language, suitable tone, and engaging dialogue. Okay, our tone should be very pleasing to the reader, not very aggressive, not very criticizing tone, but we need to have a positive attitude, generating positive attitude to the readers. And also, it should be like an engaging dialogue. People, when they read it, they can really connect with us, and they will be engaging with the write-up. That is very important. Look for inconsistencies. Wherever inconsistencies are there, look for that and delete it. Get feedback. That means sharing with somebody who can help. Revise and edit, implement changes, refine your work, and proofread carefully. Now you can revise it and edit it again. Use editing tools like utilize grammar and spell checkers, style guides, and writing software. There are so many things now online. Better than me, you people know it. So use some of the editing tools so that you will get a better pace. Keep learning, continuously improve your writing and editing skills. Now, as you read even other materials, look at the style, how they have written, look at the words, how they have used. That should click you when you are thinking of writing articles. So, some of the guidelines you can take from some of the books you read. So, for all these things, reading is very important. Yesterday also I emphasized on that. Read and read so that you will get ideas how to put things in your write-up. Then yesterday we discussed have a mentor. It's very important to have a person who will help you. A mentor. We all talk about mentoring in our spiritual ministry, in our spiritual growth. At the same time, even for editing, for writing, we need a mentor who can help us. How they will help us? They will provide guidance and support, offer constructive feedback and editing suggestions. Okay, they will give constructive ideas and feedback and help you develop your writing style and voice. When a second person reads your write up, they will know that okay, these things are not needed, or these things are not communicating properly, or this tone is very not very good. Now this can offend people. Now these are the sensitive terms which you can avoid. Things like that. Now be very careful. Assist the brainstorming and idea generation. The mentor can help you in this, and they can share their expertise and experience, especially if they are good in writing and if they are experts in some topics. That will really help you to build up confidence, encourage and motivate you to improve. And a good mentor will always motivate you to write and to improve on your writing. I still remember the first time when I wrote an article that was for Kerala newsletter, which is known as Aware. So as a senior student, I wrote an article and I thought it is useless. I thought they will not publish it. It's not that good. Something prompted me and I wrote, and you won't believe they published it. And I was wondering why did they publish it? It is not a very qualitative write-up. But they edited it, improved it a little more, and they published it. Why did they do that? To encourage me to write more. And they said that you have the ability to write, you have the talent of writing. So continue to write. So from there only I started writing articles. Those days I used to write a little more. And then, of course, over a period of time, I stopped writing. And later now, I was forced to write because either people will ask me to write on certain topics, or then I took over as editor for InTouch and Campus Link. So I was forced to write and I had to write. So then again, I realized that yes, I have lost this skill which God has given me, and I need to continue to write so that that will help me as well as the readers. So a mentor can always help us. People can help us to discover our talents, and they will help you set and achieve writing goals. They can help you to keep goals and look forward for that. And they can introduce you to new writing techniques and resources. Especially, we may not know many techniques and resources. I didn't know many things when I was writing editorial for Campus Link, how to make it more refined and more this thing. So I used to send it to my predecessor, and he will give his comments and I will incorporate it. He was my mentor. But at the same time, you have so many online techniques and resources which your mentor can help, and you can use those things. And of course, provide accountability and deadlines. Your mentor can help you to keep your deadline, and there will be a proper accountability, just like any other mentoring. And of course, mentor will celebrate your successes and progress. A good mentor will always rejoice in your success and progress. So have a mentor, a good writer who can help you develop your writing so that in the coming days you can write much more better way. Where do you get mentors? Writing workshops or conferences, online writing communities or forums, local writing groups or meetups. There may be different writers in forums which you can be connected to. Professional writing organizations. There are many organizations who are very good in writing. Published authors or writers in your genre, or even writing centers or universities, social media or writing networks. There are so many places where you can get people who can help you uh, your writing. At the same time, a person whom you know who can help you, that is very, very important. Be open, receptive, and committed to learning and growing as a writer. Now, be open. As you keep yourself open and receptive, you will learn so many new things. And also committed to learning. Never graduate from learning. You are a student always. So learn and grow as a writer. With one writing or with one applause, when people say that, oh, you have done a good job, don't stop there, but try to improve and keep on reading and keep on writing so that you will become a very good writer. Okay, these are the things I wanted to mention as session. We can have some discussions. I will stop sharing now. Or maybe this also I will tell assignment. All of you are requested to write on a report on this workshop. Yesterday and today you had a workshop, and please write a report on the workshop. I told you what are the things which are mentioned in a report. What are the things? The name and the place and date and all. The place is irrelevant here because it is online. You can mention that. And at the same time, objective of the workshop. Now, by this time, you know what is the objective of the workshop. Now, they need good writers. Okay. And what were the main key learnings you got? So write some of these things in your report and try to send to Brother Joji so that he can send it to me or to anybody else so that we can have a look at it. So that is one thing, report on the workshop, and a short article on your favorite topic. Whatever you are interested in or you are bothered about or concerned about, you can write a short article on that. Now, this you start writing. Of course, yesterday I told you about your testimony. I don't know whether you have done. If you have not done, now you can start with that. And then in the coming days, you can write these two things also. Now, unless you start writing, it will not come. Okay. So please take time and start writing so that you can be a good writer in the coming days. And we need very good writers. Actually, the need of the hour is we need excellent writers who can capture the mind of people. And if you see, there are so many falsehood which is coming. Many unwanted things which is taking the attention of people, which is catching our young generation. So many things are out there in the world. So it is our responsibility to write truth, write the truth, and write on certain topics, provoking people to think so that there will be clarity on certain topics. Now, today's generation, they are subjective. Whatever is coming, it's okay, done. That's all. They are very subjective to all the things which are happening around, and their conclusion is based on that, whatever is happening in and around. No, but there are absolute truths, and we need to portray that to them through our write-ups and through different articles. So write whatever which is interesting you. Write on one topic so that you can start writing. And you can WhatsApp to this number. That is my number. If you want to send it to me, I can have a look at it and give my own comments. Okay, any questions? We'll have some discussion.
Uh, Blessing here now.
Yes, listen.
Yeah. So my question is like, uh, I am a person who reads on almost every genre, like every type of topic. I give a read, be it a political one, spiritual one, or fiction, or non-fictional. So my question is like, in spite of having such a big reading genre, should I limit myself to one particular genre when writing in which I have more knowledge about, or should I step out of those comfort zones and see what other genres have to offer?
No, I think you need to be open towards all type of genres, because that will give you more ideas and more this thing. No, if you just limit yourself to one particular thing, uh, it may not be that feasible, no, for you. So be open. Okay, whatever bothers you, whatever comes to your mind, whatever interests you, now try to write on that. But you may not be an expert in all those things. Okay, for some of the things you may not be an expert, but certain topics, certain genre, you may be an expert. You can become an expert. So you can choose such things, but then don't limit yourself to one particular thing. Be open and you find out which one you are more good at, and you can focus on that a little more. I hope I answered you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Be open towards everything. Read everything. Be open towards everything. Start writing on whatever comes to your mind, but then be an expert on certain topics so that people will look up to you. For example, writing on what to say, an issue of dowry, for example. I'm just mentioning one issue. Okay. So people should look up to Blesson. They will know that, okay, his write-up is really good for this particular topic. He is an expert in that. That kind of where you can discover which field you will be more fit into. Yeah. Any other questions? How many of you have written any articles before and it is published somewhere? You can give a reaction. Yeah, Blesson. Anybody has written poetry? Small poems? No? You can try that also, poetry. Okay. How to write poetry? Written articles, but not published. Don't worry, keep writing. No? And then I will tell you that you send some of your articles to USA Campus Link and all. I don't know how many of you are aware of Campus Link themes and all. Okay. In InTouch also it comes, and even website also you will see that there are themes which are given for every monthly this one issues. So you can look at it and see which topic interests you, and you can write on that. Okay. For example, the last issue was on this one, LGBTQ. Many of us, we may not be an expert in that, so we have to take help from outside. But if you are good at it, try that. Or any other topic, when it comes, themes, when it comes, you try to write on that and send it to Campus Link. Campus Link, there is an ID. You can send it to them, so that even in InTouch and all, you will see that. You can send it to them so that they will edit it and they will publish it. And for editing, we need to give freedom to the editors. We cannot stick on to our own this thing that no, you cannot cut this, you cannot do that. No, but they have the freedom. Editors will have the final say, but they will not change your whole content. They will keep your content, but editing, they will do it. We need to give the final say to them. But after editing, you ask them to send it back to you so that you can see it and you can approve it, because they cannot change the content of your thing. By the time they edit, the purpose or the content should not be changed. So they will, you can ask them, request them to send it back to you. But please send it to what to say, Campus Link, and they will publish it. Even if not very up to the mark, like, they will try to edit it and put it, So, or if at all, it is not coming up to the mark. When I was the editor, what I did is, I told some of the people, when it was not up to the mark, I told them, why don't you work on it a little more? And I gave them some more idea. Can you please focus on some more things like this? And then they came up with that, and then we published it. So it's not 100% this, that the moment you send it, it will be published. No, if it is not up to the mark, the team will tell you, direct you to work on it, rework on it, and send it. So you can try that. Yes, Clara, so you try that in the coming days. Anything else? When I send you this, I will send you this PPT, yesterday and today's PPT. And I will send you one document which our earlier literature department secretary